Okay, so here it is, the final battle. Awesome, right? I thought so, anyway. So, as you recall, I mentioned in the beginning that, and you'll notice Setzer has the shell status because of equipping the Force Shield, as per an exception that I did state in the initial topic. But anyway, where was I? Oh yes, so the final battle does have a couple of unique challenges. The first being get hit with Goner, which I did not have the option of avoiding, so no worry there. The next is, once our friend Kefka told us when the end came, we must... fixed dice. We must heal him 3 times, 3 elixirs. And the final being that there is a traitor in our midst, and that character must inflict physical damage or attempt to do so, or at least inflict damage upon the party, or attempt to do so every other turn. And I chose Strago for that, and that was a heartbreaking decision to make, because this would have been the one battle that really would have made him stand out, but I just could not risk Setzer not being allowed to heal himself. So, anyway, this is, I regret to inform you, a very long battle. You are going to have to settle in for the long haul here if you plan on watching it, because wow. I mean, this one is a pain in the ass. The first time I attempted this, I actually thought I was going to beat it. Like, I thought I was going to get out on my first try. But Kefka has counters depending upon where in the battle, or where his hit points are in the battle. And once you get into the home stretch, Kefka starts using Ultima, which hurts your party to the tune of about 2,000, 2,500 damage per casting. To make matters worse, you also have to contend with his counter of Hyperdrive, which does like something insane, like 3,000 or 3,500 damage. Just oof. Like, if you are not ready for it, you're toast. And so, I was doing great. I was just kicking Kefka's teeth in. And I thought, alright, whatever. Let's just finish this up. And so Strago, I think it's Strago throws a Grand Train. It might be Setzer throwing his fixed dice. I don't remember. But anyway, what ends up happening is he casts an Ultima, and then right afterward, Strago throws his Grand Train and gets countered with a Hyperdrive. The Ultima kills Setzer, and the Hyperdrive kills Strago, and it's done. It's just, 2,500 and 2,500 damage to everybody, and ultimately like 5,500 damage to Strago. How can you plan for that? Well, I have your answer, but it still sucks. The real genius of my setup, and I practice a lot of self-deprecating humor, unfortunately. Not very good at it, but I'm going to be honest here. The real genius of my setup here was the Relic Ring, because the Heal Rod is fantastic. I mean, it's great. It's great, but it only hits one person at a time. That's one of the major drawbacks. But for the case of 1416, take your shot. For the case of Setzer, having that trump available, oh my god, it's so helpful. It is so helpful. just being able to essentially X potion himself at any time. Oh, that's what the X death stands for. That X means X potion. And yeah, here I cannot afford to bullshit around. I mean, I'm sorry, I know this is kind of dishonest, but I have to heal up or I'm gonna die here. He does eventually get his 3 elixirs, and somebody tell me if there is something going on here, because like the screen shakes and it continues shaking, like it doesn't stop until the next time around he does Goner. So keep watching that. Somebody tell me if there's something going on here. And I thought I was going to give Setzer the Genji shield, as you saw, because I thought, you know, he'll take less damage per hit, and also it'll knock his M-block down 20%. So hopefully he'll take more physical hits and get to use the black belt more. And it just doesn't work out. I mean, something seemed like it was off, because it seemed like despite the Genji shield having considerably more defense, Havoc Wing was hurting Setzer more than usual. And I do not know what was going on there. If somebody could help me out, tell me if I'm just, you know, imagining things, or if there's something going on in the game's code that is making Setzer sustain more damage despite the defense increase. I would appreciate it. I mean, if it's an oversight on my part, it is definitely not the first one, but that was really annoying. Oh, I was so happy that Havoc Wing did not kill Setzer. And if it's one thing that I think this battle illustrates, and I understand, you know, Straga's in the back row, and I understand damage is halved when it's inflicted on one's own party, but if it is one thing that I think this final battle proves, you know, the restriction, the challenge of this final battle, with Strago hitting his own party with the Magus Rod, it's just how much non-defense penetrating fight damage sucks in this game. I mean, it's awful. It is really bad. I really wish somebody would take the time and go back and try and fix that up. Like, it's unacceptably bad. The only time it's even tolerable is with MP critical weapons, and I mean, I will be goddamned if Strago or Setzer waste their time with those. For one thing, Setzer doesn't have any. And the Punisher? No. Strago's not going to be using the Punisher, no. I have such shitty luck with the fixed dice. Like, I know they were good there and there, so maybe I shouldn't be complaining, but I mean, it seems like more than half the time I'm throwing less than 2,000 damage. I mean, if you are keeping track, if you're playing the drinking game right now, I highly recommend that you do, because it makes me feel better about my hopeless alcohol problem. Like, I mean, have you been noticing this? This is really, really bad. Like, I think the only way to salvage the fixed dice is with the offering. Like, oof. Okay, so here's where the screen finally stops shaking, or here momentarily. Such a cool animation, but you see, like, the screen finally stopped shaking after that. Like, that's a glitch, right? Can somebody back me up on that, please? And again, the Trump shows up and just makes me feel like an idiot. That was a great critical, by the way. I mean, you'll see here in a minute. Of course, you know, I bitch a lot about the fixed dice, but they do kind of show up here in the home stretch. Yeah, I mean, they do. They do. Alright. Alright, guys, I'm sorry. The fixed dice are great. But seriously, Grand Train is so good. I'm so sorry that I didn't have more opportunities to use it here. That restriction really kind of dicked me over. Because, just, wow. So good. Alright, well, as you can see, Kefka is done for. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for participating in this community event. I know we started with a lot of people, and we lost a few to attrition and some other things, but those of you that stuck with me through to the end, I really do appreciate it. This has been, you know, over a month-long undertaking, and I know it's required a lot of patience with me and a lot of just overall commitment to this game that we all really like, and I just really want to thank everybody for participating. Ecclesiastes, Funky Disco is my god, Anime Guy, ZZ, like, I really appreciate you all sticking it out to the end, and thank you so much. Maybe I'll see you next year.